in some cases I would look at it and I'd be like, if I don't move and if I don't risk it and I don't apply to this place over here and I don't land this job by next month, I'm gonna starve. I was applying, God, I can't even tell you, probably like 1,000+ jobs, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, six
And
months, 6 months.
6 months.
Don't let anything stop you. I mean,
Yeah, 100%. Dude, I love that
man,
mentality. I love the way you think. Wonderful.
just
What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. And in this week's Amazing Conversations with Engineers, it is my honor and I'm very happy to introduce to you Fernando Loyola. He is a mechanical engineer in the oil and gas industry, and we're gonna dive into his journey as an engineering student and of course also as an engineer in industry. Now, what makes this whole conversation crazy and his journey insane is that at some point in engineering school, he got into an accident that could have ended not only his early career as an engineer, but also this accident could have ended his life. Now, of course, he's gonna walk us through how he managed to overcome this obstacle, the mindset that he had, and something else that we're gonna dive into is something that all engineers can relate to, and that is the job market, his job search, how him having a family and having to support a family, he was jobless, but he never gave up. He remained resilient throughout this whole process of engineering school and finding a job. And now he is very happy to be where he is. And he shares all of that enthusiasm and energy and advice with young engineers. So make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like me to host any other fields, let me know in the comments what other areas, what other engineering fields you'd like me to explore here so that we can go and have conversations together. So with all that being said, let's jump right into it.
Fernando, so you're a mechanical engineer, and we were just talking about how you made the great choice with engineering.
absolutely. I could not be happier to be in the engineering field. I'm a mechanical engineer. I work for Solaris, oil field infrastructure, and I am super happy. I mean, I went, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my story, actually. I went
Yeah.
from working in the service industry. I used to be a bartender and a bar manager
Mm.
for most of my 20s. And around I think it was 26, 27, I started just settling down a little bit, slowing down, living, like the crazy life.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need to get my stuff together. I
How,
want a
how old were
family in
you?
my 30s.
How old were you?
When I started right now?
How old were you when you started thinking, okay, I need to like do something more?
28.
28. Mm.
Oh yeah, 28. That's when it kind of, I don't know. I guess my internal clock was like, hey, bro, it's time.
Too much
You
fun.
need
Too
to
much
start
fun.
settling down. Yeah, for sure. And I started pretty much looking up what engineering careers I could choose. I came across mechanical engineer primarily because I love cars. I
Mm.
love cars. I love working on cars. And that was my main choice. But I didn't know how broad it was. I mean, honestly, mechanical engineering opens your doors to the medical field, oil field. You can even work for electric companies designing,
Yeah.
any kind of like infrastructure and stuff like that. So it's pretty rewarding.
Nice. So what did you consider any other engineering fields when you were making your decision?
Yes, I consider electrical,
Mm.
but my cousin was already an electrical engineer, so I was like, well, can't have two electrical engineers, in the family. That's just too much competition, man. Yeah,
That's
he,
funny.
and you might actually, eventually actually talk to him in the future. We'll see what
Yeah,
he works
yeah,
for
yeah. Send me his
IBM.
contact info. It'll be great
Yeah,
to
of
know another
course,
perspective. Yeah, for sure. So
absolutely.
where did you go to school? So you finally decided. So how do you transition? So you went from a service industry, and you were living where? You were living in Houston?
Yes, I was living in Houston. I was renting a bedroom in one of my friends' houses,
Yeah,
and just amassing. Well, I wouldn't say amassing a lot of money, but I was saving up money for getting my own place and everything. And I
yeah.
was like, I need to do something more fulfilling because being a bar manager was just boring. It was just getting too repetitive for me.
Mm.
And I have a lot of creativity. I want to think that I have creativity, so I
No.
wasn't able to use that.
Ah.
And I decided to put myself through school. I went the community college route first, because I didn't want to spend too much money in my education.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to try out, like the intro courses first.
Very smart.
And
smart.
so
Yeah. that's a
'cause I
very
was
smart
not,
way though. Because you weren't sure, so you just went slowly. You eased into it.
well, before I did, okay, so right out of high school, when I was 18, 19, I don't even remember how old I was. I was actually going to school to be a neurosurgeon. That's what I wanted to be originally.
Shit. Damn.
But I mean, I was partying way too much. I couldn't. I was in pre-med. I was doing pre-med, and I just no, man. It was not going to work out. I was too childish, and it was one of those things that you're like, I can never recover all the time that I've actually spent partying and doing all this. I need something short and rewarding, and engineering was definitely the answer for me.
How many years would neuro to be a how many years would it have taken to become a neurosurgeon? Like 14 years?
It was 4 years of university. Then you have to do your PhD. And then after that you have to do your residency, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a lot, like probably 10, 12 years, something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's actually a really good way to look at it for engineering. How it's if you do it very efficiently, 4 years of pain, and then a rewarding career afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not that you're paying all 4 years.
Yeah.
If you have the grades, which you need, right, to actually get into the engineering program, you will get scholarships. You will get financial assistance from the government. So you're not really paying out of pocket. Probably, just to get in, like the first couple semesters, and then
I meant a struggle with all the classes.
Huh? I'm sorry.
I meant pain of a struggle with all the classes.
Yeah, but you can do, small payments, little by little, so you don't have to pay for everything. I think for my first year, I paid probably, a couple grand. And then after that, I was just applying for scholarships, getting financial aid.
That's actually really interesting. How many scholarships on average would you apply to? Just as many as possible?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, by the end of my tenure as a university student, I had full scholarship. Like I didn't have to worry about books. I didn't have to worry about paying for courses. I didn't have to worry about anything. I had money left over.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. The only thing that set me back 1 year was back in 2017, my first semester of being junior engineer, actually. Well, mechanical engineer student, right? Like the junior year.
Yeah.
I had an accident. I was getting out from work Sunday night, and I was going to go home to study for my thermodynamics exam for my final. And I was just at a red light, and this car just comes out of nowhere, probably going like 60 plus miles an hour, and it just impacts the back of my car, and it just gets destroyed. It just gets completely totaled. I wasn't able to finish my first semester of university because of that. And the way university is actually set up, if you miss those, that fall semester, you cannot move on to the spring semester. So it was a bit difficult. I mean, the guy didn't really have insurance, didn't have an ID, a license, nothing. So the lawyer that I got to help me with anything, he was like, I can't help you. So that's when my mind kind of shifted a little bit, because I was like, we're going to do this. I had every single task that I was going to be doing day-to-day basis organized in a spreadsheet, in an Excel sheet, because I wanted to maximize my time to study, my time to go to work, my time to work out, my time to walk my dog, whatever.
Yeah.
And that threw definitely a wrench on my plans. I was looking forward to graduating in 2 years, right? And it just delayed it, So I kind of had to adjust my plans a little bit and go with the flow. However, the same goal remained, to graduate as an engineer and find a job and have a fulfilling life. So, yeah. That did not stop me.
Wow. That's at the end of the day, it's great to see that you were just like, all right, it's just one obstacle that I'm going to overcome. So how did
Man, it was, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. The accident hit me mentally more than it hit me physically. Physically,
Mm,
yeah, okay. I was telling you, I think in our previous conversations, by comments, I was not able to go up and downstairs without holding onto the rails. Like my legs would just, spaghetti all over.
yeah.
I could not do that. I couldn't hold trays to carry out stuff at work. Um, I still don't feel parts of my back. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Jeez,
My
man.
A portion of my arm I could not feel. It was just numb for like a couple of years, and now it's returned. Like in some areas, but bro, it was bad. My back is messed up.
Jeez, man. Oh, I'm glad to see
Yeah,
that you're recovering well. It's still a long process, long recovery. It's still like going to physical therapy and stuff like that.
not anymore. At the beginning of because the lawyer assumed that the guy had insurance, so I was going to a chiropractor, right? And the guy was like, "Yeah, you're never gonna fully recover. I don't want to scare you or anything, but maybe you will like regain 85% of your ability, but never 100%." Like it was pretty severe, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, thanks."
Yeah.
But little by little, I looked up ways to rehabilitate myself, especially after the lawyer didn't want to help me out anymore. I didn't have the
Yeah.
money for it. I was just I was just broke, completely broke. I mean, my car was destroyed. I still had to, and this is something I don't recommend. Just full coverage,
So
please.
yeah. So two things that first of all, what a dick thing to say for that chiropractor who just immediately
Oh
shuts you
yeah,
down and says,
yeah,
"Yeah, you're done." You basically say, "Yeah, you're done to be fully
yeah,
recovered." It's
yeah.
it's 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 really it almost makes me mad that people have that audacity to shut other people down that are trying to get ahead. It's like, dude, I'm trying to recover. You don't have to tell me that I'm not gonna do it. You don't have to lie to me, but also you don't have to shut me down like that. It's
Yeah.
like
No, that's true.
it's I'm saying that because also something similar happened to my wife's sister. She went to the doctor and something similar happened where the doctor basically told her, "Yeah, you're gonna have to be on payments forever. This is just incurable. You're done." And it was something actually
Oh
pretty
no.
serious. So so she calls my wife, and then I'm listening to the conversation, and
Hmm.
then obviously it's something that is something serious. And she's kind of like freaking out, and then we start thinking like, "Yo, look, fuck that doctor, man. Like, go see somebody else." Like, because
Yep.
there's no because the thing it was serious, but it wasn't so much that I thought that it was another way out. At least get a second opinion, third opinion. Like, don't
Hmm.
just take because she was taking the guy's word for it. Like I'm done. That's it. And
Hmm.
no way, like fuck that guy. And I don't like people. I really like. I usually I'm usually pretty okay with a lot of people. I really don't like people who just completely discourage and shut other people down just because
Hmm.
I don't know why they may find pleasure. They might find it like that pleasant and just completely discouraging other people. But anyway, man, so I'm glad that you are doing much better. And then, so what happened to the
Is
guy?
your relative doing okay though? Like, did you
Yeah, she's
guys
doing
find another
fine.
solution?
She's doing
Okay, well,
fine.
see, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. So for anybody that's listening and watching, if you ever get a doctor that tells you, yeah, you're done, go see somebody else. Get a second, third,
Hmm.
fourth opinion. And then,
Definitely.
yeah, 100%. So anyway,
Oof.
uh, so what happened to the guy that
He got
hit you?
arrested. He went to jail.
Mm,
And at the moment, I was working at the Houston Country Club, which is pretty prestigious place. I mean, a lot of high-profile people go there, and there's a lot of lawyers. So I was asking them. I was like, "Hey, can I sue? Because I'm not going to be able to get any money to fix my car or to go to therapy or anything like that. So can I sue the guy for damages?" And they were like, "Look, this may sound weird coming from us, but if the guy didn't have insurance, it didn't have driver's license, didn't have anything, even if you sue him, I don't really
yeah,
think you're
it's
gonna
just
get
like
anything
it's
out."
like, what are you gonna take? Yeah, jeez, man.
Yeah, and yeah, they were right. I did not go through with the suing because it was either sue or save some of the money you have left to go
Mm,
back to school. And that's where I was telling you that I have I think $3,000 worth of debt when it comes to student loans, because I was recovering, and I was using some of the money I had saved for rent, for my expenses, and so it was either give up on going to school, or just take a small amount of money to get back in school, and continue with your education. Just after you recover from it, you can apply for more scholarships and get more money, and that's exactly what I did. I actually used those $3,000 to pay for my thermo and my fluids dynamics class that I could not. Yeah, those two finals I couldn't take. Mentally, I was not prepared for anything. But the summer that came after the spring, I enrolled myself back in school, and everything just went back to normal.
Oh, good,
so yeah,
man.
To everybody, do not give up. For the love of God.
Yeah.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train coming your way. It's it's dude. Actually
for sure. No, I love that message. Very, very, very powerful. Especially like you said, for anybody that gets into accidents, because they happen, like something very similar happened to a friend from college. He was sledding in the snow, and then he broke his leg.
Ooh.
So he missed he missed a couple of important exams, and then so this is like the dumbest way to, aside from that, this is the dumbest way to miss a final. He overslept.
No.
He said that he had a
God.
He said that this is for statics. I remember he said that he was taking a status, he had an A, he was doing really well. And then studying for the final, he pulled an all-nighter and then overslept. And then he ended up getting a D in the class. From an A, dropped into a D.
Oh my God! I can't even imagine.
Anyway, I think he ended up retaking it. I don't recall, but it's just one of those things. Like, come on, bro! At that point, just don't sleep. Just just muscle through.
Yeah, and it's happened to me. I can say it's happened to me to the point where I have actually not gone to school to take an exam because I was asleep. But man, working full time, your body not being okay, and having a full load, like 5-6 classes, to just meet the I'm used to sleeping like 3 hours, and I can function on 3 hours of sleep, which is kind of crazy. I don't recommend it to anybody.
Even nowadays?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is something, no, but I'm not saying I sleep only 3 hours at night. I don't recommend it, but I can function. Like, I can actually take exams, perform better than most of my peers that have slept more than me. So yeah, I'm a light sleeper also. So that doesn't really help.
You were that guy.
Yeah. I was the one that ruined the curves. Yeah. For thermal. I can tell you that. Yeah.
What was your favorite class in mechanical engineering curriculum?
I would have to say mechanics of materials. I love that class. I love that class. It was just different from all the craziness and tables that were, fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, and the other ones, there are some tables as well, but it's not as bad. It's more intuitive, and you can actually look at the properties of the materials, in a very, very small, I don't know how to explain this. It's just at a molecular level, I guess, because you're looking at the grain structure, how heating it up actually changes the structure of the component.
Right. Well, instead of rolling it and start quenching it and all this stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And believe it or not, I use some of that stuff at work. So it did really come in handy. Not to say that I haven't really used the stuff I learned in thermo or in fluid mechanics, because I've also used that. But yeah, it pay attention in school, guys. It's not just like study for an A to pass the exam. It's studying because some of this stuff, even though you're not going to be doing hardcore calculations like we were doing in school, you're going to be using the same concepts whenever you're creating or manufacturing something, so the concepts definitely apply. It's not just as involved as, in school. It's a little bit easier because we have computers that do the calculations for us, but you still have to know like the material, the concepts.
Right. And I remember when you were saying that the molecules that they start shifting with temperature. It reminds me, I took mechanics of material, I think in the same semester or really close to material science. And sometimes we would look at quenching mechanical design, and then material science will kind of be doing the same thing. So it was really cool to get both sides and see how material science really gets deep into it, like how it really happens, and the percent weight and all this crazy stuff. And then mechanics of material was more at a macro level. Like this is kind of how it affects the material. It gets stronger, it gets weaker, and blah blah. So mechanics of material is a really cool. I had to take it twice. The first time, the first time I dropped it, and then the second time I did really well. Professor really made a difference.
Yes, and that is something that I also drill down on a lot of people when they're taking their engineering courses. You might get a crappy professor. I want to say that, and by the way, I went to UT Tyler. It was majority online towards the last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
But the professors, my God, I've seen, I don't know. It's just, I want to say I had 3 professors that were really, really good and they really cared about the material they were teaching. They were passionate about it. You could tell, by the way they presented the material, presented a class, presented whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I cannot stress this enough. If your professor is not really helping you accomplish the goals that you're supposed to be learning in class, look for other sources. Just don't give up.
Right.
Do not give up. There's gotta be another source of knowledge. I mean, you have the internet at your fingertips. You can literally look at YouTube tutorials or YouTube channels that have a lot of information on heat transfer, CAD CAM, or the list is endless. The list is endless.
Yeah, I think the key is just to know what to look for and having that initiative.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, being able to multitask, that is definitely learning what is a priority, what is not a priority. I think that really helps a lot. Absolutely. Yeah. And you've gone over that too in your channel. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in the description to those videos. Dude, that's awesome. So how did you have trouble finding a job? You had a lot of stuff going on the last couple of years. How did you manage finding jobs? Did you send tons of applications? Did you get hooked up? What happened? How did it all happen?
No hookups, nothing. Working every single time on my own. But I will tell you, I graduated in, let me see, December 2021, right?
Yeah.
And I did not get a job until, I graduated in December of 2020, and I did not get a job until June of 2021.
So 6 months you were in the air
for 6 months, just nothing. I mean, everything was shut down. I was desperate because I had 2 mouths to feed, pretty much.
Right, dude. And you had a family already. Wow, what? Talk about pressure.
And
jeez.
Yeah, but you can't give up. You just gotta find a way, right? So what I did was every day, as if I was going to work, 8 until 5, 4, 3, whatever, 6 p.m. sometimes. I would just be in my little office area, and it wasn't really my office. It was like a walk-in closet that nobody could bother me if I closed the door. So I put a desk in there, and I don't know how many versions of my resume I have at that point, probably 6 or 7, catering to different jobs, because mechanical engineering is so broad. This one place might require you to have these skills. This other place might require you to have these skills, and you can't just make a cookie cutter, resume. It's impossible, and just cater to every single person. It's not going to happen, So I made a lot of different versions, and I was applying nonstop to Indeed, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, anything that was apply for a job here, apply for a job. I had, I want to say probably 10 or 12, tabs in Google. Yeah. Just browsing for different things, and on my downtime, I would actually teach myself new things. So I have spent probably 3 years using Inventor as the main modeling software that I use. when I was in school. So I was
Yeah.
just brushing up on some concepts, just learning more stuff, learning about PLCs, learning about, how
PLCs.
to, yeah, because we actually do PLCs where I work. So that kind of, I can actually dig in a little bit deeper into that. So yeah, I mean, anything that was for free,
Yeah.
I
So
will get myself
how did
in.
you get Inventor for free? Just through your school's package?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got really good at Inventor. I got really good at Fusion 360. They give you like a trial version, but you can also get it for free if you're a student.
What kind
SolidWorks,
of
I was not able to get it.
what kind of software would you recommend a young engineer who says, "Hey, I want to get good at one modeling software"? Which one would you recommend? SolidWorks or
100% Inventor.
Inventor?
Yeah, I use SolidWorks at work, but SolidWorks, you even have to pay for the trial version, for the student version. So if you have $150, and this is yearly, by the way, $150 to spend it on something more valuable than just a trial version for SolidWorks. I do not recommend it. Inventor is really intuitive, and all the stuff that you learn in Inventor you can apply when you're using SolidWorks, because that's the case, right? For me.
Yeah,
absolutely, like the same concepts and everything. So
okay, so how did you get your first call?
Oh man, my first call, like where I work out right now, because I've had, I want to say probably like 30 interviews, interview calls before I landed my job, this job.
How was that process of like going to interviews, and what worked and what didn't work? What do you think, if you're being self-critical and so like, oh man, I messed up that question?
Let me see. Anything that's online, like an online interview to get a job in another state, it's really difficult to get those jobs. I'm just going to be straight honest with you. It is because I was applying to Colorado. I used to live there and I love it. And I really wanted to live there. And so I was applying to a lot of engineering positions in Colorado and in other states too, because I'm not afraid to move,
Right.
wherever I land.
So you're being pretty flexible. You're like, I'm going anywhere.
Anywhere. And, it was either, in some cases I would look at it and I'd be like, if I don't move and if I don't risk it and I don't apply to this place over here and I don't land this job by next month, I'm going to starve. I'm not going to be able to pay rent, so that was my bottom line. Like, are you going to be able to continue living here regardless, if there are jobs here and you can't get the jobs here? If it's not, then look somewhere else, And
Right.
that's what I was doing. I mean, I was applying, I can't even tell you, probably like 1,000+ jobs, man.
Jeez.
Yeah. 6 months.
So
6 months.
So how was the interview process for this job? So they saw your resume and they called you.
I actually saw the posting on LinkedIn, and they require, certain years of experience using a modeling software. And I was like, okay, check. And then they require, a mechanical engineering degree, obviously, and knowledge of like SolidWorks. And I was like, well, I don't have SolidWorks knowledge, but, I do have Inventor. So I applied for the job, right? And they were like, by the way, this position is in Brownwood in early Texas. And I was like, yeah, okay, I don't, that's not going to stop me at this point.
Yeah.
I've applied to out-of-state jobs.
I applied to Peruvian jobs. Like, just trying to get something. I'm just trying to get something.
The recruiter contacted me right away, and she was like, hey, by the way, this is here. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I understand the terms. It's fine. She was like, okay. So they looked over my interview, and I want to say maybe the next week, I had an interview with the manager of the engineering department, which is my boss right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I got to meet her for the first time. And I was nervous, but I was confident, because I know that I could do what they listed in the job requirements. So I wasn't really like trying to lie about anything. I was pretty straightforward. I told her about my experience drafting, and it seemed like it went well.
Yeah, it seems like it.
The second interview I had.
Yeah, how was that second interview? What did they ask you there?
Okay, so the second interview was supposed to be the technical interview, and they did ask a couple of technical interviews, but they weren't too critical in my case. Which I'm thankful. I mean, I was ready regardless. You know, I was expecting them to ask me about safety factors, you know, yielding of like certain materials.
Yeah.
How do you, you know, design a component? What is your thought? Like, actually, some of those questions actually were asked, and I was able to reply properly and effectively, which I think was what gave me the next interview.
Yeah.
The next interview I had with CFO, Mr. Kelly, who is amazing.
Everybody's gonna go find him on LinkedIn now.
he's a businessman, and he takes, you know, really good care of us. He's just awesome. I had an interview with him, and I just told him about my experience, how I was able to multitask in between different jobs, which is something that we have to do at the office. And it gets kind of crazy here sometimes, but we're able to handle everything that gets thrown at us, which is awesome. So yeah, I had the interview with him, and then finally the week after that, they asked me, "Hey, Fernando, we'd like to invite you to come over to the facility, so you can see where we work at, you can see the city, and you can meet, you know, some of the staff." And I was like, I would love that. Bro, at that point, I was so ready. I was like, yes, you know, like, oh my God, finally, after so many tries, so many months, so many applications, you have no clue. So I went there and I got super lucky. Not just the people that I had already interviewed with there, but also the engineer, I want to say, what is his title now? Scott's title. He also works for Mr. Kelly. Let me see. He's the president of engineering. We have a PE. We have the people that do the electronics. You know, so all of that engineering squad was there pretty much when I went, and it was just awesome. I mean, I had a couple of like face-to-face time with the electrical engineer who overlooks about like every single project that we have there. I was able to answer pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
and no, I mean, it was just awesome.
Yeah. So what do you do nowadays? So you're in the oil and gas industry, and in Texas, it's pretty common, right? Like there's a lot of
it's heavy.
Yeah.
I want to say it's heavy. I don't know exactly. Well, in Houston, I know there's a lot of jobs that I didn't get. I know for a fact. But they do have a lot of oil and gas jobs in Houston,
I went to when I went to Houston a couple of years ago, I was working with Shell and others as they were contractors. And but yeah, there's like a plaza or a couple of blocks where there's like a ton of oil and gas companies. They're all together. They're like the headquarters. So I don't know if they're headquarters or there's a bunch of them. There's Total
the energy corridor.
Yeah, that must be. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, this was like 2013 or something. It's a long time ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But so there is a lot of oil and gas companies up in Houston.
Yeah. So what do you do now when it comes to engineering?
Solaris, we're currently, and I don't want to brag or anything, but we are pretty much pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the fracking industry, which is great. We're coming up with new designs, new working prototypes that we're putting into the field, and it just makes everything, it reduces the footprint of, say, a fracking site, right? So if you have...
So can you explain to me, I'm ignorant, what is fracking?
Okay, so fracking is pretty much pumping certain chemicals into the earth to apply more pressure. So whenever you are drilling for the oil and extracting the oil, the pressure actually allows you, well, if you increase the pressure, it allows more oil to come out. So a lot of drilling, so whenever you're drilling, they need to frack. They need to apply more pressure in the ground to make the oil come out, like more oil, right? So
are they different companies? So if I'm drilling, do I have to hire a fracking company to come and how does that work? How's the structure of drilling?
if there is a site, I want to say there's going to be a lot of companies, because a lot of companies cater to different areas of the fracking, of the drilling. So for example, us Solaris, we do propant, which is the stuff that they pump into the into the soil for fracking. It can be sand, water, and other chemicals. We actually store and convey all of those propants for the how do I explain this a little bit simpler, because this is really complex. It's not like 1 + 1 is 2. There's so many steps. And so let me see.
So you basically help bring the oil out, and then you store the chemicals that are pumped in to the.
Yeah, pretty much. So in order to get the oil out, we supply. Well, we don't supply. We actually store and convey, the propant that they're using for fracking to extract the oil.
Oh, okay. So you don't actually do the fracking. The company that's doing the drilling does it.
Yes.
Okay. That's got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And so basically, you have other companies like Schlumberger, Nextier. They have blenders, and the blenders are pretty much where the propant meets other chemicals, and then they pump it into the ground, right? However, Solaris is actually making a new type of like blender that's electrical, and instead of just having 2 or 3 blenders from other companies, because they break down a lot, so they have to change them all the time, you can have one of our blenders, because we have 3 interchangeable tubs, and those tubs, they're pretty much redundancy. So if one breaks down, which I don't think it will, you have 2 other ones that are still doing the same work nonstop, So yeah, we're pretty much lowering the footprint of the fracking site. And also now we have the top fill, which is in LinkedIn. I don't know if you've ever gone to LinkedIn and looked at Solaris. We pretty much so we have silos. We have sand silos, and we store the propant in those sand silos. And then from the silos, we pretty much distribute it to a conveyor belt, and from the conveyor belt, we dump it into the blender for like Schlumberger or any other companies, right? So now, because there is I don't want to say, because of the whole COVID thing, there's less truck drivers available.
Yeah.
And now we're having the choice of like, okay, we can do with less driving, with less drivers. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so we made a top fill, which is basically a bucket elevator conveyor belt, which is a tower pretty much, and it goes over the silos. And if a silo is low on sand, the tower pretty much moves to where the silo is, and then it drops the sand that way. I mean, it's awesome. If you have some time, maybe I can show you a video of it. Yeah, that's what we're doing. For example, instead of having all of this other equipment from these other companies that are going to break down, you can have all of our equipment, because we have technicians there all the time, and our stuff really lasts a lot longer than their stuff because of the build redundancies.
This video is sponsored by Solaris.
Solaris oil.
Nice. So what do you think about? So how was the fracking industry impacted by? I know there was some policy that went in a couple of months ago. Where was that impacted in Texas also? Because I know in Pennsylvania, I mean, I don't know much about the whole. Maybe it just gets too political, which we don't have to get into. But like I know there were some policies that were implemented that was affecting the fracking industry. That's as far as I know. I never looked into it deeply.
Well, for us, nothing has really changed. If anything, we have more work now. Because of, we're building all of this new technology that we're putting into the field. So we're hiring like nonstop right now.
Oh, hey, a lot of engineers, if you guys want to work in the oil and gas industry, go ahead and contact Fern.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I can never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would be at this point where I am right now,
Yeah.
All the hard work really paid off.
So how has your lifestyle improved since you got your engineering job? So you graduated, you went 6 months without a job, and then you got a job. So and then you moved. How has that improved your lifestyle, your life, socioeconomically? Like, are you much in a better mental state?
Oh, bro, you have no
Yeah,
clue.
yeah.
I'm not struggling to live anymore,
Mm,
and it's just, I feel blessed. I feel blessed. I, this city, although it may be a little bit small, which is fine, quite honestly,
yeah,
but people just keep to themselves. I mean, it's amazing. And I'm in the country. I don't know if people like the country or not. Me, I'm a city boy, but I really do enjoy the scenery.
yeah.
A lot of like fields out there, a lot of greens. The parks over here, you can take your kids to the park, and you don't have to worry about people coming to like
Yeah.
rob you or anything, kidnap your
Yeah.
kids. It's crazy, man.
Was that
Houston
Houston?
is absolutely crazy. Oh my
Houston was
God,
like
you have no
that,
clue.
really?
Houston is insane. Houston is insane. I mean, you have
Wow.
too many people living there, traffic at all times, at every single hour. I mean, it's just craziness. And then they're
Wow.
stealing catalytic converters from cars. I
Get
don't
the
have to
hell
worry
out,
about
really?
anything. Yeah, bro, I
Wow.
can leave my door unlocked, go on a trip over the weekend somewhere else to like Austin or whatever, come back, and
Yeah.
nobody has done anything, man. It's
That's
awesome. It's peace of
crazy.
mind.
So for the people that don't know, you're also a dad, and you have two daughters or a daughter and a
I
son.
have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Ho-
Nate. He's 2.5, and my daughter, she's 10 months.
Oh,
Oh,
wonderful.
yeah,
So how is the
they're
life as an
getting.
engineer and a dad? How is that? Is
It's
it?
great.
Yeah.
It's great. Let me tell you, best thing I could have ever done was have my kids. And
Mm.
I am super proud of them. And
Better, better,
I'm
better
gonna.
than getting a job after 6 months.
Yes, yeah, but no, my my job actually allows me. I'm not gonna say to like super spoil my kids because I don't want that either,
Right,
but
right, yeah.
to give them a comfortable life, and it's good.
Mm,
I don't think I would be able to afford a third mouth to feed on unemployment. I mean, that's mm-mm.
right.
No, and I did try to get a job steadily for 6 months, and it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
and my
I
my
think it's
kids.
important to. It's sorry. Go ahead. What you were saying?
Oh no, no, I was just going to tell you that my kids will know because I'm always going to be there for them.
Hmm.
They will know that I am an engineer, and I'm able to provide them with this lifestyle
Yeah.
because I'm an engineer. So they're going to associate, oh, okay, so having a good life represents your background, your education, and hopefully they strive towards something like that.
Mm. I think it's important to highlight how your story is really like amazing. How you went through all this struggle on how like you get hit by a drunk driver, and then you get back on your feet. Eventually, you finish school. You go 6 months into unemployment. Uh, you go six
Rough.
months without getting a job, unemployed, and then you're still applying to hundreds of jobs,
Yep.
not giving up, and then you finally land the job, and now you're providing for yourself, your family. I mean, you're still providing, but now much more, much better
Hmm.
life for you. And also, how's your work life balance, if you even believe in
Oh,
that?
no, yeah, of course, it's great.
Yeah,
It's great. Sometimes on Fridays, like towards 3, 4, if there's not much going on,
yeah.
we're let go. It's
Peace.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like any
Not
any
too
any
much.
email after 3 p.m. is part of the next day, right?
The next week
Next weekend.
for Fridays. No, but
Yeah,
it's great. I cannot complain. I mean, my work life balance is perfect. It's perfect. I
yeah,
couldn't ask for anything better. My even if I need to have like half a day off or something like that, I talk to my boss. I sit down and I'm like, hey, I need to be at home because my wife has to take my kids to the doctor or something, and
yeah,
it's just like, okay, don't worry about it. Just get to work whenever you can. It's no big deal. And I was like, okay, cool. But
yeah.
they are they are lax, you know, but they give us autonomy. So
Mm,
you're in charge of your own projects,
Right.
and you have this deadline, that you have to meet. So it's up to you how you want to actually achieve your goals. But yeah, it's awesome. I can't complain. My boss, awesome.
No, it's really good to hear this perspective, because a lot of the times what really gets a lot of attention, it's people complaining and people saying you can do I hate it here. It's just, so it's like the bad rep that gets a lot of attention, and then people start believing, and then they start thinking that's across the board, but there are wonderful stories and successful stories like, hey, you know what, I'm happy, and I've never been happy with the decision that I made. I'm so happy that I made a decision to become an engineer, to get into this industry, even though obviously it was a little hard to find a job, but when I did, it was really, really good. I was talking to a sales engineer. Have you heard of those sales engineers?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I was talking to a sales engineer a couple days ago, and then he was telling me the same thing as you. You know what? I'm really happy with where I am. So his story is amazing. I'll be posting it on the channel next couple of days. But he became a sales engineer in 6 months, or maybe shorter time. But then he went from making chickens at a local restaurant to becoming a sales engineer and making over 6 figures in 7 months, 6-7 months. Crazy.
That's
crazy.
What I'm talking about.
I was like, wow, dude, really? He's like, yeah, man, like sales engineering.
Commission.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll post the story. You're gonna hear all about it. But yeah, it was. But he was also really happy to where he was. He was providing now for his family, for his girlfriend back then. Now his wife. So they're living the much better lifestyle. And that's one of the reasons personally why I love engineering, because it also helped me in my journey go from minimum wage, working at a gas station, getting fired from the gas station, and then like climbing up, and now provided for my wife, my family, and now future daughter, like I was mentioning a little earlier.
Yeah, of course. Congratulations once again, man.
Thank you. Yeah, so definitely a great career move for so far that I've seen. But it's also so far. I mean, because I haven't talked to someone that says one-on-one, I hate it. It's like I hate it. I haven't talked to one. I've seen them, but I haven't talked to them one-on-one. It's like I hate it. So it's good to hear all these stories. Have you seen those people that say, no, I hate it. I hate engineering. Have you heard of
No, I've had the pleasure of working with people that love their jobs. Especially here at Solaris. I mean, I have a boss, but I have a co-worker. He's a level 2 mechanical engineer. He's my mentor pretty much.
Yeah.
And he loves what he does, man. And you can tell like he gets really passionate about little details and like teaching you things that he has like learned throughout his experience in that way. I mean, it's awesome. Just could not be happier, quite honestly.
Yeah. No, that's good to work with people like that for sure. 100%. You can tell it's like really into it. So are you going to get your PE? Your professional engineering license as a mechanical engineer?
As a matter of fact, I am a little bit studying for my FE. I don't have my FE, believe it or not. I actually was watching your video on the FE thing, and I was like, man, I really want my PE, and I do work with a PE, right?
So you're already meeting one of the requirements.
Yes, I already meet one for. So things happen for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go with the flow and be like, okay, yeah, of course. I want to say maybe by the end of next year I will have my FE, and if I'm still here in like 4 or 5 years, I'll definitely have my PE. Yeah.
And so, how will your PE? Are you looking to? Why do you need your PE, or is it something that you just want to get out of the way?
No, I'm thinking about having my own company in the future, probably like 10 years down the road. But see, this is where I am a little bit conflicted, because I don't know exactly if I want to be in the oil industry when I make my own company, because I mean, I love Solaris. I don't want to be a competition for Solaris. It's a lot of people, a lot of wonderful people at that. When I had my car accident, I learned about physical therapy, and I wanted to learn a little bit more. So I started volunteering for Shriners in the orthotics and prosthetics department. So I was helping them make, prostheses for people without arms, without legs. And it was so rewarding. Even though I was a mechanical engineer when I was graduating, I wanted to be a part of the medical industry. in the medical field. Yeah, because it's so fulfilling to see people that cannot walk be able to actually walk. It's insane. So I was thinking maybe in the future, if I get my PE, I might be able to delve a little bit more into mechatronics, maybe doing exoskeletons for people that cannot walk. Maybe we might be able to get to the point where, hydraulics, or there's another possibility that maybe we have exoskeletons that are not so heavy, because we have to have a lot of like structures in there. So,
dude, that's
with new materials coming out,
that's really wonderful to hear. And what's jumping out at me, it seems like you already had a calling for the medical industry, because that was your original. That was the original
right.
in the back of your mind. It was being a neurosurgeon, right? So you had that something that would draw you to the medical field. So now, like, who knows? Like in the future, now you kind of go more towards something that is more mechanical, more than brain related.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I actually did a project for one of my classes where I was actually creating a automated prosthetic, a prosthetic arm for people that are missing an arm. And I actually bought a lot of sensors that allow you to, like, if you have a little bit of muscle movement, it sends a signal, and you can use the signal to make it, to pretty much, you can use the signal to actuate something. So
right,
the way you put something together, as long as there's a small signal there, you can actually make the prosthetic move. So I was working in that, but I mean, school was challenging, but it took a lot of time. Like I eventually had to stop my volunteering because I became the leader of my senior project, and we were doing a project for NASA. So I had no more time for anything, no more spare time, So I mean,
dude, that'd be wonderful to see you get back out there and with your company in the future. That's awesome. So you won your PE. So you won your PE. That's gonna help you with that.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I know it's not the same industry, but you can apply different concepts,
right?
Especially when it comes to material composition and mechanical stuff. So
well, you can definitely model, right? You get that's
for sure.
You can at least start consulting for modeling and like doing all this like on the Fusion or Inventor, whatever
man,
the software
happens. So many things I've used. Let me see. Inventor, Creo, Fusion 360.
Yeah.
I've used Revit. I used to work for a plumbing company in Houston before the whole while the whole pandemic was going on.
Yeah.
But I got laid off actually. Yeah, I got laid off like a few months before I graduated from university. So I know how to use Revit, Naviswork, now SolidWorks. So yeah, I have a lot of experience modeling, pretty much.
You can probably start teaching that. Like, hey, I'll teach you.
It will be cool. Not out of the table for sure. Of course.
You know what you were telling me? When you start actuating, you can send a signal. Isn't that what Neuralink is somewhat doing?
Yes, but that's more intrusive. That's inside of your head. Mine is actually just on your skin. So you put the neuromuscular sensor, and if you like flex your arm or something, it sends a signal to, I want to say, to the board. So I was using Arduino for it, and for the Arduino, you have the input signal, and then your output will be your servo motor, right?
Whatever.
And so to make it move. So the only thing you had to do is put everything together, and that's where I was. I was like putting everything together, wiring everything, and then bro, NASA was just something else.
What was the NASA project that we were doing? Can you talk about it?
It was for graduation, my senior project.
Yeah. What was it about?
Project. We were actually developing so this was before NASA had said that they were going to send a lunar rover to the south pole of the moon because there was water there to start mining, right? So they had my team pretty much design a method of warming up a battery, an internal battery for the rover, so it wouldn't die while it was, during lunar night, I guess, which sounds crazy. But
right?
Yeah, and we ended up making an exothermic chemical reaction chamber, basically having two chemicals come together, meet together, generate heat, and then that heat would like transfer to the battery. So that's what we were doing. And I don't know if they ever considered the idea or not, but that's what we did for 1 year, one whole year, from design, manufacture, exposing it, like showing people, showing the NASA people. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Did it? So you actually manufactured it?
Yeah, we manufactured a prototype, a working prototype.
Okay. Yeah.
We did not, of course, we weren't even allowed the information for the battery, for the whole thing. So yeah, NASA is very challenging to work with. They will not tell you anything, or the very minimum, and then you have to look up, their files, like what they have, released to the public, readily available information. Like you can't really ask them, like, hey, what batteries do you use? They're not going to tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. I know a little bit of what it's like to work with those really secretive agencies, and they're just like, that's all you get. I said, what?
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Oh boy, that's funny, man. So last question.
Yeah.
What would you advise a young engineer who's to yourself when you first started, a freshman in engineering? What would you say?
Just finish what you started. Just finish what you started. Focus and determination will get you there. Just finish. I know it's hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be an engineer, So it's definitely not easy, but it's definitely worthwhile. It'll be the best thing best return of investment.
There we go.
Nice. For sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's really powerful, and I like that how you were saying it's like the shortest path, or one of the shortest paths. Well, one of the best ones for sure. 100%. Like you can do so much with engineering with a bachelor's. Like you don't have to get a master's. Yeah, if you get it, sure. Yeah, it's a plus. If you get a PhD, a plus. But you can do so much with a bachelor's.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, you don't have to be an engineer, which is the goal, obviously. But you don't have to be an engineer with an engineering degree. You can do anything. At that point, you can work for a consulting company, designing something, but the creativity is your limiting factor here at this point.
Right. Yeah. That's a really good point. And how it's also very versatile. And I was watching a video from this other YouTube channel. It was mentioning how at some point, one of the CEOs for the New York Stock Exchange was a chemical engineer, but he never actually had a job as an engineer. He just kind of went straight into it. It's kind of crazy, right? He just went straight into business and finance.
and somebody else, I don't remember who it was. I think I watched it in one of your videos. He was going originally to school to become an engineer, and he just couldn't do it, so he went for finances or something. I don't remember exactly who that was. Warren Buffett, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but
really?
Yeah, I mean, don't take my word for that. I have to look it up. Exactly
don't limit yourself for sure. I think that's the main message.
Absolutely. Do not. If you've already made it, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
one more.
For sure. And then the other thing, it's like how even if you want to, like you were saying, if you want to completely get away from engineering, I think it's one of the safest backup plans if you really want it to be a backup plan. Because a lot of the times I hear young engineering in the second, third year, it's like, oh, I don't know if I should finish it, or it's just too much work. But if you just finish it, then you can literally do anything that you want, and you still would have a way to make a decent amount of money that supports you while you figure out the next move and while you figure out the next thing that you want to do. And it's only 4 years.
Don't realize, and halfway through, right, or third year.
Yeah.
In a year, you're going to be 1 year older, and it's up to you to be either an engineer or a dropout. So
yeah, it's just like true.
Which one you want?
That's so true, man.
It is. I met this bass boy when I was at the Houston Country Club, and I was beginning my education as an engineer. And I was telling him about my classes, my challenges, And he was like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. And I was like, okay, well, take the classes, you know. One of his requirements was to retake Calculus 1. And I'm not even kidding, bro. I literally graduated, and because he did not want to take or retake Calculus 1, he never got in. He never did anything. He just complained that he had to retake a class, and he never did anything. So up to now, he's still a busboy, I think. I don't know. Who knows? But do not have that mentality. Don't let anything stop you. You know?
100%. Dude, I love that mentality. I love the way you think. Wonderful.
If you, well, there's a few more, right? You will find an excuse for something that you don't really want to do. But if you really want to do something, you will go through it. You will find any ways or means necessary, man. I mean, you see. Dude,
that is so true. Yeah, if you really want it, then whatever obstacle that you find, you're just gonna overcome it somehow. But if you're halfway there, not really, then you're just gonna find an excuse to say, you know what, I'm out.
Yep.
That's so true, man. But hey, man, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for joining us, for telling your story, your experience, and the encouragement for all the young people that are watching. And so, are you on LinkedIn? Can people find you somewhere on social media, or you're a private man?
Yeah. Well, I do a little bit of Facebook, but I do not do really Instagram or anything like that. I do have LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, I'll put
your. Look up my name and my last name.
Yeah.
Sorry, you'll see it.
I'll find you. All right. So I'm gonna stop recording.
Yeah, that's fine.